How are humans different from animals? Except for the obvious things like the structure of limbs, absence of a mane, and the ability to hiss. Most likely you'll think of intellect and feelings. This is a unique feature of our kind. We're really smart and we experience a variety of emotions. For a long time, it was believed that animals aren't capable of anything like this. They can't tell what they feel or explain any chain of reasoning. But in fact, everything is much more complicated than it seems at first sight. It is physically impossible to get into the mind of another creature, despite the fantasy of Hollywood writers.
Max, can you hear me?
Woof woof. Just kidding, it's me, Max.
So far, scientists haven't learned to read other people's thoughts. It's especially difficult to read them when you aren't sure if there's any mind at all and where to look for it. Animals don't speak the human language, so they don't think. But you can look at animals in terms of evolution, and then you'll discover some amazing things. Let's start with jellyfish. If you like to swim in the sea, you've surely met them. It's believed that jellyfish were the first animals to have a nervous system. Yes, this jello has nerves. After jellyfish, there were chordates. After chordates, vertebrates appeared. Vertebrates came out of the sea, stood on two paws, invented cars, electricity, internet, and here we are. But our nerve cells are still very similar to the jellyfish nerve cells. If we have the same nerve cells as jellyfish, dogs, and crayfish, what's this say about the rich emotional life of crayfish? Or does it say nothing about anything at all? There's a simple example. If you place the crayfish in the laboratory, and every time they try to get out of the shelter, you apply electric current, then the poor crayfish will develop an anxiety disorder, or rather what looks exactly like human anxiety disorder. They will feel weird, and in time will stop coming out at all. It seems that the crayfish will start to be afraid. They'll act as if they have an anxiety disorder, and if you add to the water the medicine used to treat human anxiety disorder, they relax and they'll calmly start crawling around the aquarium. They won't even need a shriek. So let's take the bigger and more complex creatures. Octopuses are mollusks, but they recognize human faces and use tools like most monkeys. They're also very smart. Have you seen how octopuses open cans? And how do they sleep? They also have dreams that make octopus change color without waking up. Here's another example. A small fish called barbel. It doesn't stand out and it isn't particularly smart. It would hardly have gotten into this video if it hadn't been for the amazing barbel partnership with hippos. These huge African beasts are able to destroy everything in their way. They're aggressive and they require special skincare, and barbels come to the aid. They follow the hippos in shoals, and as soon as the hippo is comfortable, the fish start to work. They quickly chew away all mites and other skin parasites. They even eat the feces. It looks like a spa treatment that includes exfoliation of the face and the whole body, and even oral hygiene. Hippos get clean and fish get food. It's a perfect tandem. Another absolutely human feature that animals have is teaching. Monkeys don't know how to teach their babies. Kids just watch the adults and repeat. But those don't do anything on purpose. But for example, sea otters and killer whales are very good at teaching. Of course, they don't teach monkeys, they teach their own babies. Orca are also used to share their prey with their family members. It's a very unusual behavior. It's enough to look deeper to notice the similarity between people and animals, literally to compare the structure of the brain. If you place the human brain and, for example, the mouse brain next to each other, you'll notice a strange thing. They are really similar. The human brain is larger and a stronger version of a mouse brain. More wrinkled if you want. This is how evolution works. It doesn't create something new out of nothing, it simply takes the existing parts and assembles them in a slightly different way. By the way, many technological discoveries were made in the same way. For example, a car. But let's not distract from the study. The human brain and the brain of a chimpanzee are almost the same. We can say that people just got a bigger version. Evolution gave to the dolphins an even bigger brain. Does that mean that dolphins are more intelligent and have more intelligence and better communication? Not really. A huge part of the dolphin brain is designed to process sounds, so that animals can have this incredible sonar system. People don't have it, so the brain is smaller too. You imagined it, and you didn't like it. Imagine if you had to carry a huge head on your shoulders. Unfortunately, modern technology allows us to see only the brain itself, rather than look into the depths of the mind. Is it really a dead end in research? Not really. The work of the mind can be understood by the behavioral logic, and one simple example is enough. 2 beluga whales, called Little White and Little Gray, were caught near the Russian coast. In 2011, they were transferred from the Russian Research Center to the Chinese Aquarium. The beluga whale spent 10 years in captivity and could hardly expect to be released until the aquarium was bought by Merlin Entertainment, which opposes the captivity of whales and dolphins. In June 2019, marine prisoners were transferred to a marine reserve in Kletzvikbay Iceland, and if you could imagine a map of the world, you understand how far away it is. Now add to the equation the fact that each beluga whale weighs more than a ton and eats about 50 kilograms of fish a day. It was a really difficult rescue operation, but it was worth every penny spent. Why? Look at their faces. Beluga whales smile. They feel that their freedom is close. They really feel joy. They understand. We become humans because of billions of random coincidences and mutations. Animals become animals by following the same path. We share the planet as neighbors for millions of years. So it isn't surprising that we have a lot in common, much more than it may seem at first sight. These elephants look agitated. Something attracts their attention. They seem to be frightened, but there are no predators nearby. There are no predators? But there is a sound. It turns out that if you play records of voices of people who speak English and people who speak Maasai through a speaker hidden in the bushes, elephants react differently. Animals simply ignore English because tourists speaking and tourists aren't dangerous. But as soon as elephants hear the Maasai language, they come together and run away. The fact is that the Maasai people are often armed with spears. There are often fights between Maasai and elephants at watering places, and the animals are injured. Now think about it. Elephants know not only that there are different kinds of animals and one of them is people. They understand that there are different kinds of people, and some of them are dangerous. It seems that animals watch us much longer and more attentively than we watch them. We are all similar. It's strange to realize this, but man, lion, mouse, and orca have a lot in common. Identical skeletons, identical internal organs with a few exceptions, even the same nervous system. Chemicals which create mood and motivation in people do the same with animals. You've probably heard that some animals can get depressed. This is not a metaphor, but here's another fact that simply explodes the brain. In the whale's flippers, there are exactly the same bones as in the human hand. Seriously, look at it. It's just a big palm. We're all connected. We are a family. Sometimes it's very difficult to believe in. We look at the behavior of some animals and we'd like to ask, hey, do you even understand what you are doing? Yes, most likely it does. Moreover, some animals are able to experience really difficult emotions. For example, grief. Researchers have found that crows mourn their dead. In addition, they try to understand what caused their deaths in order to avoid danger in the future. The crows are even able to remember an animal or a person who is seen next to a dead crow. They stay away from that person in the future. These birds have an excellent memory. They can even recognize the abuser after years. So, well, it's better not to fight with crows. But what's surprising is that you can't call a human a pleasant neighbor. Probably there are no species on the planet that would not be affected by our actions. And why don't animals respond the same way? At least take orcas. They eat seals, although they might be well offended and go on a human diet just like that. Passing by a guy on the board, it could bite the edge, flip it over, drop a person in the water. But orcas for some reason don't do this. It's as if they just don't want to repay evil for evil, or maybe they don't know how to be evil at all. Okay, let's say that some animals are able to teach their babies. Some rejoice, some mourn, but not only emotions make a person human. You also need imagination. It seems like animals can have this too. A very small dolphin calf lived in an aquarium in South Africa. The baby's name was Dolly. One of the workers was on break and was smoking, looking out the window at the pool, and Dolly swam closer to look at him. Let's not judge that man for his bad habit because it helped to understand amazing things. Dolly went back to her mother. ate a little, and then again, it swam up to the window to release all the milk into the water. The milk surrounded her head like a cloud of smoke. Do you understand? A little newborn dolphin had the idea of repeating the employee's actions. And not just an idea. Dolly realized that milk could be used to simulate smoke. A human child at that age would have had hardly thought of such a thing, and a dolphin did it. When people use one material to represent another, we call it art. Is it possible to say that Dolly also created some kind of art? Seems to us she did. What do you think? People and animals are very similar, even if they seem very different. Yes, we're more developed than cheetahs, shrews, or whales, but that means only more responsibility. Just like older brothers take care of their younger ones, we have to protect the animals. This is a rather complicated idea. It takes time to think about. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. See you later!